for Bob. Do we? Is he?
It was not love at first sight. She was a 5-day-old foster kid named Elizabeth. 3 months later, I became her dad. I remember the moment. She was lying on my chest crying. I'd been singing to her, which I believe now is why she was crying. She looked at me straight in the eyes. Then the most surprising moment of my life happened. I fell in love. Oh my God, I thought I loved this child with all my heart. I realized she didn't need a diaper changer, she needed a dad, so I promised her I would be. And then it hit me, it's just me now, no one else is coming. What does she really need from me? Luckily, teachers were all around, they were adult women. I started asking them a simple question: what's your best memory of your dad? Some struggled to find even one. But many smiled before they answered. One woman remembered riding a mower with her dad. She kept a picture of it on her dresser for 40 years. Another remembered her dad racing across the airport to find a left-behind doll. Another remembered looking up words in the dictionary with her dad. It surprised me how small some of them seemed, but not to her. Realized they had something in common, and it wasn't complicated. It was time with Dad. His attention said to her, "You matter to me." But there was something else. They were remembering the kind of man he was. And Elizabeth was doing the same thing, watching everything I did, listening to everything I said, learning what kind of man I am. So this isn't a story about being a perfect dad. It's about what I learned trying to be a good one. It's October 19, 2018, 6:32 a.m. I'm downstairs making breakfast for Elizabeth. She's 17. It's a school day. I called her name, no answer. I went to her room, not in her bed. I turned to my right and see something I'll never forget. She's lying on the bathroom floor. Her wrists are cut. She's not moving. I drove her to the hospital myself that morning. Thankfully, the cuts were superficial. A week later, I drove her to a therapeutic boarding school in Utah where she lived for 9 months. The day I dropped her there was one of the hardest days of my life. A month later, I visited her, and at lunch she turned to me and said, "Dad, it wasn't your fault." There were so many times she wanted to die, she said, but that morning she couldn't take it anymore. She was in therapy. We had a safety plan, but still there she was on the bathroom floor. 500 Snapchat friends and no one to talk to at 3 a.m., not even Dad. I'm sleeping 40 feet away. I always told her my job was to keep her safe, but that morning I did not. Luckily, thankfully, Elizabeth lived, but her friend Mia did not. A few years earlier, I watched Elizabeth and her teammates walk into a church wearing their traveling gymnastics uniforms for her funeral. Elizabeth was never the same kid after that. I couldn't protect her from all the hurts of life. It wasn't a failure of love, it's just a hard truth. I learned this from my 17-year-old daughter. What does she need from me now? The same thing she always needed, her dad. I fell back on the ground I often stood on when I had no idea what to do. The love never stops. That was a long time ago now. She's better. She still has struggles, but she's better. She's with me here tonight. We talk about the real stories now. If someone someday asked her her best memory of her dad, she might say, "Good night, I love you." For decades now, in one way or another, the last thing I say to her every night, love never stops.
Keep it going for Bob.